Okay, so when I originally started this video, I was ranting about my cat because come here, Yoshi. Oh my god. Oh, here she goes again. Because she was acting annoying. I was giving people some advice about Bengal cats. Listen, Bengal cats are not normal domestic cats. They act like foxes. She's primarily domestic too. Oh, she hates affection. She absolutely despises it. She only lays next to me if she thinks I'm asleep. Otherwise, she doesn't like affection. It makes her angry apparently. I don't know why. I think because she feels like she's a grown cat and I'm treating her like a baby cat. I don't know what's going on with her. So, I'm gonna do a reading. I was gonna do it earlier, but I took a very long nap instead. I want to do a reading on the woman. So when I made a video explaining what happened when I took an edible that had an extremely high amount of THC, and it was even on the wrapper. Okay. And how the people in the ambulance were acting super weird. By the way, I vomited in the majority of the contents of the edible before I even got to the hospital. So I threw it up really quickly right after I ate it. So I wasn't really affected by it. When I was at the hospital, though, there was a woman screaming. This hospital was super weird. I didn't have when the nurses weren't paying attention, I ran into an exam room and I opened the cabinets and there were no medical supplies anywhere, and it was supposed to be the ER, and I thought that was weird because I used to work at a hospital doing medical studies because I went to school for epidemiology and biostatistics, and I was working with epidemiologists and stuff. So part of my work was to be at the hospital with I was working in the arthritis department for a skin condition. And so part of my job was to take the patients, because I was doing patient recruitment at the hospital. And so when a patient would come in to see the doctor or physician, I would walk into the room and I would talk to the patient about a study we're doing for a very rare skin condition called scleroderma. It's it's kind of like, it might be some relation between lupus, and there's not a lot of research on it because it's a very rare condition. I think one of the men from Seinfeld, not Jerry, his friend, I can't remember what his name was. I think his sister actually has the condition. So there's not a lot of research on it. And so my job was to go to this was in Boston, and I would go and recruit people for the study so we could find out more about the condition, so we could figure out better treatments for it. There's not a lot of, the problem is when you have a rare condition, like I have EDS, there's not a lot of help you would get unless it gets more popularity. It's very unfortunate. And doesn't help that the biggest problem with having a rare condition is that it's very hard to diagnose because doctors tend to misdiagnose things anyways. And when it seems like it might be a rare condition, they're less likely to go down. It's not like Dr. House or something. They're more likely to just be like, oh, maybe it's psychosomatic. Before I was diagnosed with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, or a form of it, which means I have a connective tissue disorder, so my joints are really weird. Every time I went to my doctor, they thought maybe it was anxiety or something. It was really strange. So I got misdiagnosed with anxiety because I kept going to the physician saying like, I feel really sick. And I think they must have thought I was like a hypochondriac after a while because I kept going. But no, I'm not. Let's see. The condition's really weird. Like, you know, I'm able to do strange things that most people shouldn't do. And so the problem is that my joints slide out of position quite easily. Like, I can't sleep on my left side or else my shoulder dislocates. I don't know what happened. I must have damaged the joint. And my back's really messed up. Probably because I was stabbed when I was little. But also because, you know, I think it's primarily because I was stabbed when I was like 5. And so my back there, the muscles work really hard to keep my joints into place or some shit. I don't know. My physical therapist explained it to me. I don't know how it works. She told me. So I'm supposed to be in physical therapy, but you know, because it's 2 senators who care about money, I haven't been able to go in quite some time. So my back's always in pain all the time because I need medical treatment. I might need to get surgery in my back. And then I was in a car accident. And because I already have a connective tissue disorder, my neck, I start suffering from, what's it called? It's very common in people with EDS. What's it called? Cranial instability. So what's happening is that, if I remember it correctly, the alignment of my neck is a little off, or it's pinching like a nerve, and it's causing like fluid to leak down my back. And so like I'm constantly getting problems with my neck, so I constantly have to crack it and like I have to like try to physically realign my spine all the time. It's, you know, it probably makes me a little crazy, but you know, and it seems strange, right? Realigning your spine. So anyways, when I was at the hospital, so I'm just saying all this because I've been to the ER quite a lot because I have medical conditions that require me to go to the hospital. You know, when things get out of alignment, and when I was at the hospital, they took me, I noticed it didn't look normal. It didn't look like a hospital. I've been to hospitals all across this country, and I've never seen a hospital that looked like that. It was supposed to be ER, but it was in the back of the building. There was no exit that you could just walk out of. It was very strange. I never heard of that before. That there was no signs. And then the rooms were weird. They were using dentist chairs. It was the weirdest experience. And so when I was there, by the way, they wouldn't turn the light on in my room. It was weird. But anyways, when I was in there, I heard a woman walk up to the nurses, whoever the fuck they were. She was screaming and crying, and she said, "No, I don't understand why I'm here." And she said, this is what I heard her say. She said that she was walking down the street in Lewiston or Augusta, I can't remember. And she said that an ambulance pulled up next to her and dragged her onto the ambulance. She said she was just walking down the street. And she didn't sound drugged to me. I mean, she didn't sound like, you know, like she was passed out. It sounded like she was just walking down the street. And she said, they forced me on the ambulance, and then you guys took me here, and you guys won't tell me why I'm here. And I really want to leave, and I don't know why I'm here. And she started screaming and crying, saying that she wanted to leave, and she didn't know why she was there. And I was, since like a little bit of whatever drug was in my food, I digested a little bit, and I thought she was just acting or something. I'm like, what a weird place. Because when I was there, I was like, there's no way in hell this is a real. I'm gonna be real with you. When I first got taken to that place, I was like, are you guys like getting new funding. I told the nurse that this looks like a set, for like a movie set. I told her this looks like a movie set. I told her this doesn't look like a real hospital. I asked the lady, I'm like, are you a real nurse? I think like, no, I went to the nurse and said, are you having fun here? Because this doesn't seem like a real place. And so but I was saying it as a joke, I guess, because I digested a little bit of the drug that was in my edible. And so from my perspective, I just wasn't taking I wasn't taking anything seriously. I thought everything was a joke. Because it just didn't line up because when I was there, it didn't line up with my idea of what a hospital could be. So I was like, this has to be like a joke. Like I thought I was being pranked. I thought I was being pranked. I don't know why I would think a bunch of people would want to prank me, but I thought I was being pranked because I was like, I told them, I'm like, there's no way this is a real hospital. And so they kept trying to give me a drink to consume, and they kept opening it and giving it to me, but it tasted a little funny and I didn't want to drink it. And so when the nurses weren't looking at me, I got up and ran into one of the exam rooms. I opened all the cabinets and I didn't see any medical supplies. I'm like, I knew this wasn't a real hospital. And so then they got mad at me, and like a nurse came and she took me by the hand and she dragged me into this weird room that it was it wasn't a medical bed. It was like a futon on the floor. And there was like a TV inlaid in the fucking in the wall. And by the way, I was like, I know I'm a little stoned right now, but I have never hallucinated. And so I knew I wasn't hallucinating. Something strange was going on. And then like the lights are off, and then the TV screen turned on, and it was like dominatrix. It was a men wearing leather, weird music. It was weird, like sex video. It was really weird. And I was just like, what the fuck? And so I decided not to look at it. I turned my back to it and I just started like twirling around in a circle in a room and like dancing like a ballerina or something instead. Because I was like, I don't know. I thought that I was like, I don't want to look at that. That's really weird. I'm getting out of here. And so the lady, she was watching me and she started laughing because there was a window in the door. And then she came and let me out and she put me in this weird this room with a dentist chair. It was like a weird Shea lounge or something, but it wasn't like nailed in the floor. And like the chair didn't have like wheels either. It was so strange. And then when they left me alone, me being autistic and extremely curious and detail oriented, I walked around the room and I noticed these weird speakers in the wall. And I after seeing that weird video on the TV screen, I walked up to each like screen, and then I noticed in the back of the room there's this window like in a police station where you watch someone, but you can't see on the other side. So I could see it was like this weird mirror, but I'm like, this is a fucking window. This is like an observation window. What the fuck is this? And so then I started thinking, oh, this must be like some MK Ultra shit. That's what I thought. I thought this must be MK Ultra. Like this, there's no other explanation. But I don't think it was MK Ultra. And so, but that's what I had to tell myself because nothing was making any logical sense. And then when I was like in there, they wouldn't turn the light on, and it had a weird security guard. The security guards acted very strange. And I guess they were blocking my exit because they knew I was going to take off and they were worried I was going to take off and start running around again. And so when I was waiting in there, I heard that woman crying, and she went to the nurses and she said, I don't know why I'm here. She was scared, whatever. And she, she sounded really scared and she was crying. And she said she just wanted to leave, and they told her to just go back in the room. And so, if you listened to my story last time, all this time when I was in there, a bunch, like 10 people came in my room. They're like, oh, Miko, come with us or something. And the physician was super weird. He's like, Miko, you're super high. That's what he told me. And I was like, that's very weird. That's very weird, isn't it? He was being very unprofessional. And I knew he was being unprofessional. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with these nurses and doctors? They're so strange. And so I walked up to each of them and I grabbed them by the faces and I said, I love you. I walked up to each and every one of them and I said, I love you. I love you. I love you. And they were trying to give me a ghost stare. Then I walked out the room and I went in the corner. I said, but what you guys are doing isn't love. This isn't love. And then they left me alone. I think I made them feel really uncomfortable. And so they left me alone. And then I was lying there by myself. And then those, lucky. And then I was lying down in the dark because they refused to turn the fucking light on. All of a sudden, these two security guards ran in and they're about trying to drag me somewhere. And I saw them coming, and before they entered the room, I jumped out of the chair and I ran behind and I jumped in the air like a fucking cat, and I think I levitated. They think I levitated. Okay, you ask those two men. These are two big and wide men. From their perspective, I was floating in the air. And instead of grabbing me like they were supposed to, these two grown men started screaming and they ran out of my room. After that happened, all of a sudden people started acting normal again-ish. All of a sudden they came in, they turned the light on, and they're like, do you want to turn the TV on? I was like, yes, I've been here for hours. I don't even know what's going on. You guys are acting I told them you guys have been acting very weird. Remember? And so, all of a sudden the staff changed, and then the physician came back in, the one I grabbed his face, I love you. He came in, and his face was kind of dark, and I couldn't see, and he had a phone. Yoshi, don't you dare. He had his phone, and he was like, oh, by the way, I didn't have my phone when I was there, but somehow my aunt and my mom was on the phone talking to me, and I never even been in that hospital. I was like, how did they get your number? They was on the physician's phone. Isn't that weird? They're supposed to use landline at a hospital because of liability problems. So strange, right? And so then they had the landline. No, his cell phone came, and he was like, I'm gonna call you Uber. And I was like, oh, okay. I told him listen, I don't even know why I'm here. There's you guys didn't give me any type of treatment. I didn't tell them that part. They didn't give me no treatment. They didn't take any vitals. They didn't ask me about my family history. So I was like, I don't even know why I'm here. And so then they called me an Uber. Oh, I noticed when I was there that the TV was off. The clock said it was 7:30. No, the clock said it was 7:38. Remember, I'm autistic, so I noticed all these weird details. It said it was 7:38. They turned the TV on, and the credits for Big Bang started at around 7:38. And I was like, that doesn't seem right. And the programming is off. What is this clock? I really don't know how long I was there. I don't know. Remember, they took me around 1:30. So I was there for 6 hours, and I don't know why. Just for what? Taking an edible 6 hours? That doesn't make any sense. They said I was there because I took an edible, and they just needed to observe me. They didn't even check my vitals just to make sure that I was okay after taking an edible like that, right? Because I've done it they're supposed to give you some IV fluids, or they're supposed to check your heart rate to make sure they didn't do anything. I was there for 6 hours. It was so strange. And so then when I was finally leaving, the guy who was leading me out, he saw I had no shoes on, and he said, do you need some socks? And I was like, yes, thank you. That's what I've been waiting for. I said, I've been cold. It's been really cold in here, and all this other stuff. And so they gave me a blanket, and they gave me socks, and then they walked me up to this counter, and I was like, is that everything? And that you can go. I was like, oh, do I need to sign anything or whatever? They're like, no, get out of here. I was like, oh, okay. And so I walked out the building, and the doors closed behind me, and I stood there and I looked around. I was like, where the fuck am I? There's no signage here. And then the Uber came. It was I think he was a Somalian man. There's a lot of Somalians in Maine. And I got in his car, and he's like, what is this place? Now, who knows? This is actually Uber. Who knows? I considered it. I don't know if it really was an Uber, because I didn't have the phone. And I was like, I don't know. They told me it was a hospital. He's like, oh. And when we were driving away, I looked around and there were no hospital signs. I don't know. And so after this all happened, I got a bill from a real hospital here, and I Googled what the hospital looks like. I'm like, that's not the hospital I was at. That's not the ER. That's not the ER I walked out of. It was like the hospital was supposed to be like North something. I don't know if it's Northridge or something in Maine. And I don't know why. First, I don't know why they took me to that hospital. St. Mary's is closer. St. Mary's is right in Lewiston. I don't know why they took that lady to that one either. If she was in Augusta or Lewiston, it would have made sense to take her to St. Mary's. I don't know why they took her there either. And so I'm doing a reading on that woman. I want to know what happened to her. When I was leaving, I was looking at that woman. I was looking through the exam rooms. I saw some ladies sitting in them. And I wonder sometimes, did I get out of that situation? And these women weren't able to walk out like me. I think, luckily, THC or whatever the hell was in the edible, because it's possible it wasn't even THC. It could have been something else. It made me kind of feel like this was just like, this is theater. So I wasn't taking anything seriously. And I feel like it was kind of a blessing that I wasn't taking it seriously. Who knows what things would have been like if I wasn't on that weird drug they had me on. I guess it might have maybe it was supposed to be a sedative, and instead it just changed it. Pass. I call upon her spirit, guys, and she's in good standing. There we go. Or her if she's dead. I don't know. We'll find out, right? Pass. Wisdom in the reverse. So it took me about 20 minutes. It might be a long read. Present. I just want to know what happened to her. Balance in the reverse. Future. Boundaries reverse. All right. How do I clarify wisdom? Tarot, within wardens, true emotional, Egyptian oracle. Okay. Wait, where are they? I want to make my own tarot cards. You know, I'm an artist, but I haven't drawn in a while, and I tend to get, when I have to do art for work, I suddenly don't like it anymore. That's why I picked. That's why I picked science as a career. Tests of intuition. Silence. Struggle tests. What happened? Oops. Growth tests. Let's see. There's a lack of knowledge about something. someone express this? Yes. Okay. Okay. So was I around about that? This was before. They wouldn't allow her to express this lack of knowledge. This is and then she was transported. Kind of what happened to me when they talked to me. They were acting super weird. They were like, "What century it is?" I'm like, I even told the EMTs, that's a weird question. I asked them, I'm like, why are you guys being very strange right now? Because I've been on the ambulance quite a lot. Because remember, I'm sick a lot, so I had to be on the ambulance quite a bit. Then she started crying. Because she was taken. And devoured. She was taken and devoured. And harvested. Not on Earth. Because of lack of wisdom. She was trapped. And her soul. Express itself anymore. Her soul can't express itself anymore. She can't make any more wishes. She cannot heal. Didn't take the chance to leap, to run away, to jump out the car. Now she lives in silence. Now she's in a state of silence. Death. If she's dead, she can communicate with me. If you didn't remember, I'm a medium. And then her soul started seeking me out. And she told me what happened in my dream. I'm sorry. She told me a man trapped her and was terrifying her. She was scared. No one was listening to her. Only I could hear her. In my dream, she was all muddy and dirty looking. People stopped the flow. People stopped the flow. She couldn't tell anybody what happened. She couldn't tell anybody what happened. No. What was done at 8? It was horrible. It was destruction. Oh. It was a way they were using destruction to humble. It was chaos. And her mind couldn't take it. Bottom of the deck, the top card, is an ending. Yoshi, stop it. Let me use my other card. What happened to her then? Let's see. My cards are too much. But I haven't used those decks in a while. I haven't pulled that deck in months. Oops. Oh no, don't go, don't go. Don't go. Don't go. I'm only gonna pull out cards relevant. These are my true crime cards that I made myself. There's a lot of them though. Let's only pull out the ones that can help us. It wasn't intergalactic travel. It was the earthly kind. It wasn't gay for pay. So it was a man. That's weird. That card came out. Sex for pay. paid. Someone paid for something. Someone paid for service in regards to her. Let's pull this card. She's dead. This wasn't a hotel or a motel. It was an auctioning. Oh. What is this? Like the Hostel movie or some shit? That's like from a fucking movie. Of course, my mom and brother are huge fans. And then people pay, and then they watch. They watch it. Oh, that weird video I saw on this screen, was that one of the, was that what was supposed to happen to me? Was the video like a torture video where they murder you at the end? Oh my god. Good thing that drug made me kind of like the biggest hippie on the planet. By the way, if anyone's wondering who, remember my family was on the cell phone. Remember? You remember my family was on the cell phone? I just want people to remember. My family was on the phone. They had my family's phone number. This is a female. This was a female. Sorry that happened to you. Why is the FBI not shutting this place down? Did they even know that this was like from the movie, right? That's what they do in the movies. Does FBI know they're doing stuff like this? They take you how they take you is they take you when you're, and they use an ambulance. Now the EMTs might harass some of these, some of these EMTs are private corporations, which is why healthcare shouldn't be privatized. It should be governmental. Healthcare should never be privatized. And all ambulances should be governmental entities. They should not be operating privately. They do the auctioning. They use NFT art. That's how it's legal. So there's a binder that tells you what each art means, and you purchase it. I wrote about this online. I guess I got the download because that's what they did with me. It's crap. This is what they're using NFT art for. It's like a black market. Let's see what happened to her. She was kidnapped, like me. People wonder why I don't mow my lawn right now. I haven't been going outside to mow my lawn. First of all, I can't because of my illnesses. And second of all, there's a bunch of fucking people who run like a weird hostile auctioning party murder thing. And I don't know if they're still driving around my house. It's a secret society. It's like some weird secret society where these people with money pay to murder, have sex and murder someone, and it's filmed and people watch. This is done by people who have money. And apparently too much fucking time. It wasn't a van, it was a truck. They use these trucks. And it's a secret. But before anyone asks, it's not part of the deep state. It has nothing to do with the deep state. Because I know there's always people, it must be them. Listen, I don't like a lot of these politicians either, but I don't think most of them are this evil. I think they're a different kind of evil, but they're not this kind. Okay? They're not this kind of evil. There's different breeds evil. And I'm not even saying their evil even compares to this. This is a whole new brand of evil, which is really awful to do to a human being. A politician just goes around lying to people. That's evil, but they're not, they might be hurting people based off their policies, but a lot of them wouldn't agree to this shit. They use surveillance, online surveillance. Oh, I remember. What was my nickname? Was it Rose or something? A Rosa from like Attack on Titan? Was that my like nickname? Okay, that was my nickname. Like Rose. Stop, Yoshi. Yoshi, hold on. Stop! Oh my god. This is slow. Someone did it to get revenge on her. Hold on. I'm back. Who am I? It wasn't a car. Excuse me. That's so gross. No, I don't know why it wasn't aliens. You know, people can be so weird. They blame everything on aliens. They bring every evil thing in society on an alien or lizard people. Isn't that so strange? Even the Christians do it. They blame all the evil of a human on the demon or the devil, but they don't want to blame themselves. You know what's the most interesting thing about these people? They all know what they were planning to do to me, but they got scared of me and called me an Uber because they thought I was possessed by Satan. Isn't that the funniest thing about all this shit? These bad cops who are also involved somehow, who were harassing me, telling me to stop posting things online. These people, not that I'm upset that they let me leave, these people called the Uber and kicked me out because they thought I was possessed by demons. Isn't that funny? And what's crazy is what they're doing is evil. But there's always a human out there who's out there murdering and abusing and torturing people and doing horrible things and then broadcasting it on a portal, which is a portal can be like this thing right here. And then they see maybe someone levitating in the air and they're like, oh, that's the devil. Honestly, you guys give the devil such. I want to let people know the devil wouldn't do as. Listen, the devil would never do the things you people do, and you guys got the nerve to want to bring up his name and say that there must be evil here. The irony is insane, isn't it? This is not a gang. Oh, you know what? You know what? What's this here? Listen, I don't know what's going on. There's someone who's a part of this group. I don't know. Is he the one who runs the group? There's a male that runs the group. No, they were watching me after they let me out. Oops, sorry. I let my accent slip out. They were watching me when they let me out. And he became obsessed with me. There's a kingpin. The one who was running it is obsessed with me. Is that what that dead woman's telling me? So, I don't know what that means. Oh, I know. He doesn't want me to die now. He wants to own me and have me live with him in his house. It's very strange. I don't know how I got. Listen, I got into this situation because of my family. My family wanted to make money off of me because they disliked me. And instead, my mom and brother were planning to watch it all unfold. They were going to watch me apparently be sexually assaulted, and then I was supposed to get murdered on camera. And then they were supposed to dismember me and throw me into the ocean. Instead, I don't know. I guess there was the window in the room. I guess there were people watching me. And it piqued their interest. And so, anytime someone tries to walk up to my home, I started noticing all of a sudden there'll be a certain car that speeds by my house. Right? After this happened too, I started seeing prostitutes lingering around my house. I don't know why. You know what? I had a couple dreams about the prostitutes. I would happily tell people. I wonder, you know what? I wonder if the prostitutes, do some prostitutes know about this place? They know about this place. Oh, listen. I guess I became a patron saint of the prostitutes. Because I guess, am I the only one that's ever been out? I'm the only one who's ever gotten out. And so the prostitutes, a lot of these prostitutes, they believe in tarot and crystals because they have to use their intuition and their own wisdom that they got from being on the streets and interacting with men in order to stay alive. Okay. So unlike talking to a scientist, a prostitute or former prostitute, this is why a lot of tarot readers tend to be former prostitutes or strippers. I'm trying to explain something people might have noticed. A lot of tarot readers tend to be prostitutes or former prostitutes, or they used to be former criminals. I'm going to explain why. This is because through pure luck, and these people know that they should be dead. I'm just explaining something people have noticed. These people know they should be dead, okay? They've probably been in situations where they were supposed to be murdered and they weren't murdered, okay? And they got away. And it's because they listened to a little voice in their head that was telling them what to do, and they knew that it wasn't them. And so maybe the voice would be like, turn left, do this, blah, blah, blah. So these people tend to be highly spiritual. And so there's some people, maybe Christians, people in organized religion, they don't understand these groups of people because from their perspective, they're the lowest of the low of society, but they don't understand how these women and even some of these male prostitutes can be so spiritual. They got crystals everywhere. They talk about their dreams and their visions and stuff. You're more likely to find someone who worships Mother Gaia among a bunch of prostitutes than anywhere else, okay? Some of these former prostitutes, when they're able to get out the prostitution ring and they get older and they turn to those old ladies that you see doing tarot readings, very soft spoken, very grandmotherly, you know, and they tend to be very wise and very intuitive, and they can just read your mind because these ladies had to learn how to be a mind reader. Okay, so the prostitutes who tend to survive are amazing mind readers, because think about it. How else are they alive? Prostitution is one of the most dangerous jobs. It's more dangerous than being a police officer or working and doing military work. It's extremely dangerous. And some of them are able to move on and get old and have children, maybe even get married. Most of them end up dying. So the ones who make it, they're extremely spiritual. And I think they remember they all knew about they knew that I had a TikTok, and so I have a bunch of prostitutes follow me on TikTok and YouTube. You know, and I knew about it. I think didn't I make like a Twitch or like YouTube video, and I was like talking to them and stuff, and I was telling them what some of my reads. And I was giving them advice. And so I started having dreams about these prostitutes. Okay? I started dreams about these prostitutes, and like they will be hiding in the corner, or they'll be somewhere, and they'll tell me, and they'll show my dream. They're like, don't go that way. And I'll like run in the opposite. Listen, if a prostitute runs to you and tells you don't go over there, you're gonna fucking listen, right? Her family, who did this to? Was it a family? Friend? A drug dealer? That might have been a drug dealer she owed money to. She owed some money. There's something about a boat. Oh. What happened to her? I told the prostitutes where I got my necklace from, too. I told them how to pray because I knew they were watching. There might have been a life insurance payout or someone got paid for the death. It might not be like so when the life insurance payout, when someone says this, it doesn't necessarily have to be in the official records. It could be an under the table payment. I'm guessing since my brother was the one who auctioned me off on this bullshit, he was the one that was supposed to get payment. Man, buying and selling humans industry. This lines up with what when I did my it's a hate crime. Oh my goodness. Tunnel. Grade school. This is serious. These are serious crimes. This is not some little petty theft. This is some serious bullshit that people are doing. And they have a cleanup crew. The cleanup crew comes and they clean things up. And they might pay people off to look in the other direction. Because if they don't, people might get scared that it might happen to them too. And the cleanup, this is by wealthy people who don't want to get in trouble. They drug people. First they drug you. They drug you. This is, the government's not involved. There's nothing to do with the government. But, you know, maybe the government should get involved though, huh? And that'd be nice. They abuse the people they take. No, not in a wooded area. I guess maybe it's trafficking. And then they make a snuff film. Until they traffic people and then they make a snuff film. So I guess it involves drugging them, abusing them, and not in a wooden area, so an urban area. And then they traffic them. And then they make the snuff film. I guess they get rid of them. And then they send the video. These are not sex workers. These are people they kidnap. The snuff film. This is real death. This is not fake death. This is real death. Fake death in the reavers. There's law enforcement, bad cops involved. The cops in my town were paid off. I'm not in a swamp. We're talking about the death of a cam girl. This involves multiple people. These people are going to prison. They're going to prison. I will admit, I pull cards on this, not on her situation, I pulled on it a long time ago, and I have pyrokinesis. And when I sensed that they were coming to my house, because I have telekinesis too, which I think people believe I have telekinesis, right? Okay. Around right before COVID started, or right in the early stages, I was driving the highway in the blizzard. I lost control of my car. I was sandwiched between two semi-trucks. I was about to slam into the middle, I was about to get killed by getting sandwiched between the semi-trucks. And the first thing in my mind was like, let me just move the car with my mind. So I moved the car with my mind, and the car behind me to another sedan. We ended up in the snowbank because my telekinesis moved both of our cars. Now, I was swerving to the left side. All of a sudden, my telekinesis moved the car to the right, and we landed in the snowbank. So I'm able to move two cars. And so when I felt people coming to my house, if you look at I encourage people to look at the car accidents that's been going on in Maine lately. I haven't had to do them too much lately. But right, this happened in 2023 and 2024. Some of the car accidents I caused with my gifts. Because these people were people who were trying to hurt me. I can read people's minds. And so what I would do, I would use my telekinesis so that they would get in a car accident, and then I would set the cars on fire sometimes. So there's been a bunch. If you look at the history in Maine, past 2023, 2024, I haven't really checked this year. You might notice there's been a lot of accidents with people's cars being set on fire. This has nothing to do with political. I want to make this. It has nothing to do with political affiliation. Okay, so I'm just gonna leave this like this. This has nothing to do with someone's politics. These are just evil people with money. They've been trying to spread lies. I think they got worried that I was speaking out, so they tried to spread lies that I was crazy or some shit. But then some of the people involved start dropping dead like flies. Because I can actually cause people to have heart attacks. And so if I noticed that they were going to cause me a problem, I would use my spiritual gifts to cause them to have a heart attack. It would work. I would do it by messing with their biochemistry with electricity, because my gifts also allow me to use electricity. And so the person went up. I don't know how many died from heart attacks. You see, one that I caused. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 4 or 5. And so then the people, I was playing cards on these people this whole time. These people started getting scared. It has nothing to do with government-controlled media, okay? I just want to make it clear. This has nothing to do with MK Ultra or the CIA or the FBI, okay? This is not them. This is a very long read. So I start using my gifts on them because I thought the FBI was taking their sweet ass time. But I guess now they're working on it, but it's still not quick enough. Do they know how many people have died since they've been taking their time and doing procrastination? Quite a few people have died as they've been taking their sweet time. If they actually interviewed me and talked to me, they would have got the truth a lot quicker, and maybe they would have found out where this place was and who these people are who were involved. Who knows? They might do this to some children too, but they were just taking their time. No one should be shocked though. I mean, we just had another shooting. They're not, I'm not trying to be rude, but the FBI doesn't seem to be really good at their job. They seem to, like, look at all these man-made disasters. I don't know what's going on. So, you know, I had to take things into my own hands, and so I started giving all of them heart attacks. I started crashing their cars. Oh, I started using my pyrokinesis to burn some of their homes or buildings down. I've been doing this because I have an endless supply of special abilities that I've been using on this group of people who tried to sex traffic me and create a snuff film on me, the witch. And so then these people started calling me the witch. I don't know, who's the one trapped now? Is it me or them? I mean, I am sitting in my house and I don't go out that much, but who's really trapped now? Is it me or them? How many of them have passed away? Quite a few of them have passed away. And then I talked about it in some of my legal documents too. Ooh, there's a fly. I talked about what they did. Ritual. No, it isn't black magic, but whatever the fuck. Who knows? You know what? They might worship Satan too. That might be part of the weird thing they do, because these people are obviously delusional and psychotic, right? Who the fuck? They're all a bunch of fake people who pretend to be normal citizens, and then they get together and do this weird shit on their off time. These are some evil ass motherfuckers. Unfortunately, they decided to mess with the Carrie of Maine. I became their Carrie nightmare, and so, you know, there's that. So I guess they don't really know what to do. By the way, they've been tracking my social security number to see when I'll get hired again, so they can stalk me. But at this point, these people are terrified of me. That's why the prostitutes, I became a patron saint of a bunch of prostitutes. No, that's okay with me. I have nothing against them. I really don't. If they want to call on me for protection, I have no problem doing that. They're scared somewhere and someone's trying to hurt them, they just call my name and my spirit would be with you. keep you safe from harm. You just gotta call. Just call. You can just call me Mother Gaia. Call me Mother Gaia. If you're somewhere and these crazy people are trying to hurt you. Oh, it broke. Just call my name. I wish I could have done something. There's drama for that woman. I wish I could have done something for that woman. I didn't know what was going on though, because I just wasn't paying attention. I need another rubber band. So this is a reading of that woman. One is one, and the timer on the clock when I pull this card. 11111. 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 11 seconds when I held this up. Okay. Everybody, take care and have a nice day. And remember, if you're in this situation, all you gotta do is call Mother Gaia. Get these cards in the upright. Okay? Use the wisdom to help Mother Gaia balance it out for you. She'll put up the boundaries. Take care.